Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast, and welcome to our watch club for The Mandalorian Season 3. This is the way. Welcome to Watch Club. My name is Nate, and this is our Watch Club for The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 1, titled The Apostate, directed by Rick Famuyiwa. If you're joining us for the first time, this is Watch Club, our weekly review series, kind of like a book club, but way better. Keep in mind, we will be going into full spoilers for this series and Star Wars in general, so if you haven't watched this week's episode yet, be sure to do so, and then come right back in less than 12 parsecs. Now, before we trust a bunch of Anzellans to repair an old friend, let me introduce you to some of my old friends joining me for this episode. First up, he's the juxtapositional, Django-loving, Jar Jar justifying, Jawa junkin' Justin, the Low Baka Lawrence.
Yo, what's going on?
Justin, you know who Low Baka is, right? Isn't he like Chewbacca's son or something? I think he's from the Christmas special.
I was actually going to joke and say it was his uncle or something.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Low Baka, Chewbacca. I'm sure all the Bakas.
Hi, Baka.
You know. Hi, Baka. You think that's what he says when they greet each other? Hi, Baka.
Hi, Baka. Bye, Baka.
Bye, Baka.
Yeah, it's the nephew. It's Chewie's nephew.
Chewie's nephew, Low Baka. There we go.
He's a Jedi, though, too. By the way, he's a Jedi.
Like Gunji.
Oh
Luke Skywalker. Yeah.
Like Gunji. Wow. But if you look up pictures of Low Baka, he's nowhere near as cool as Gunji. Joining us, she's the heiress herself, the magnificent, meticulous, and majestic Megan the Magistrate. Hi, Magistrate Clara.
Get it right, Nate.
I'll get it right. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Friends, listen, we made it back. Back to, this is the watch club that started it all. The Mandalorian was the first watch club we ever did on the podcast, which is so cool. And now we're in the third season of Mando, and this believe it or not, this marks our 17th watch club. We've done this will be 17 of these things. Which is absolutely incredible to think of how many episodes we've broken down. And not only that, but coming full circle here, I mean, this is the way. This is the 17th Watch Club, but it's also the 17th chapter of The Mandalorian. Technically, there's some chapters from Book of Boba Fett that, whatever, maybe you got to go and read that book, but
it's its own book, man.
It's its own book. It's a different book. But this is chapter 17 of The Mandalorian to kick off our 17th Watch Club. So it's the Force is just working in mysterious ways. But listen, before we get into this week's plot and break down the episode moment to moment, I know it's a bit cheesy, but I wanted to ask both of you on this momentous day that the Filoni and the Favreau hath given us. What has this series meant to you over the years? Megan, why don't you kick us off?
Well, believe it or not, this is also the first episode of Geekcentric I ever did. Was the Mandalorian Watch Club. I believe it was it season 2? Yeah.
Yeah, it was season 2, episode 2, I think, maybe.
With the lizard lady or frog lady.
Yeah, the frog lady.
And they were in the ice planet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was my first ever Geekcentric episode. And The Mandalorian also sort of kicked into gear my love of Star Wars. I hadn't seen Clone Wars yet. And when, again, is it season 2 when Ahsoka is introduced?
Yes.
I didn't know who she was watching that episode. I know. It's so weird that I am where I am now with Star Wars, and that all started with The Mandalorian in a way. So it's pretty cool to be talking about season 3 consistently with you guys. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Justin, how about yourself?
Well, you like you said, it kickstarted our watch club for the podcast. It started out as an idea, and when The Mandalorian season 1 came along, it presented itself as the opportunity for us to sort of enact that. So, the Watch Club itself being a part of our, as you've said, part of our podcast for the last little while, producing 17 of these. It's so crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But as a Star Wars fan, I think what I loved about Mandalorian, and I still continue to love about it, is that it's refreshingly new while still embracing the old. It has a lot of the original Star Wars charm that we know and love. And for better and for worse, The Mandalorian really does establish Star Wars outside of the Skywalkers. And I think that's the most important thing. And it's been a great ride. I can't believe we're at season 3. It's nuts.
And we got a lot more to go from here, but this is the one that started it all. I think it's for a lot of Star Wars fans, it's the reason to become that they became day one subscribers to Disney Plus. I know for myself, of course, we were going to subscribe to Disney Plus because we're huge Disney fans, but the fact that Mando was sitting right there ready for us to bring him in, what does he say, bring him in cold or bring him in warm or something like that. I think the show has definitely had its ups and downs, and we've discussed that here on the Watch Clubs. But it showed us that Star Wars can work as a series, and it laid the groundwork for what seems like the future of Star Wars storytelling. And I mean, come on, the first time you saw Grogu, like, we didn't know he was Grogu at the time, right? He was the child, but like the little hand that comes out, and you're just like, I was just losing it. Like, I was losing it. And it was just one of those things where, again, like, I think that moment and Justin, like, you and Kevin and I just calling each other and talking about it, like, frantically. We
watched it together, didn't we? We watched it together.
Did we watch it together? Oh, shoot. Yeah. Okay. So we didn't call each other. In my mind, we called each other. In my memory. But getting to just instantly, like, start being like, okay, what does this mean? What is it? And talking about it is what really kind of kicked off this idea that, okay, no. We need to record this. We need to sit down and we need to make it a thing. And it's just such a delightful surprise. It was crazy that they were able to keep Grogu under wraps. And it's really been, it's the heart of this show that allows us to get Din Djarin, who's not just surrounded by armor, right? Like, he rarely removes his mask, but at this point for Grogu, Din has now removed his emotional armor. And I think that's kind of a really lovely sort of message that they've been putting throughout the entire show and season to season. And it's just like, he's this kid's dad now. It's a story about a dad. And obviously with Star Wars, think about the Bad Batch, just all about dads. So if you like great, dads, and as a lot of people call Pedro Pascal daddy, God, you can definitely enjoy Star Wars right now. That took a weird turn. But I am so stoked to see where season 3 goes. And according to Jon Favreau, dude, I mean, he's already written season 4. We're not even at the halfway point, he said. Like, we could be getting 8 seasons with these characters, which is absolutely insane. How old is Grogu going to be by the end of this? Is he going to be teen Grogu? Like, what's going to happen, Anyways, listen, before we're attacked by a giant crocodile monster, let's get into this premiere. So after an excellent recap of Din's journey so far, somewhat excellent recap, this week's premiere starts off with an armor making montage as we see the armorer crafting a new Mandalorian helmet for a young boy waiting in the water. As she walks towards him, the other members of the clan lift their flags and pound their chests. She begins to lead him through the ceremonial phrases, swearing him to the way of the Mandalore. She places the helmet on his head and announces, "This is the way," and the boy, as well as all those surrounding them, say, "This is the way." But as the young boy is about to promise to never remove his helmet, the armorer pauses him, looks up to see a massive swell of water rapidly coming towards them. She tackles the boy out of the way as a massive alligator-like creature hurls towards them. Suddenly, all the Mandalorians must band together, firing away, attempting to bomb the beast, but nothing is working. Paz Vizsla, with his Gatling blaster, still isn't enough. And just when all hope seems lost, boom, out of the sky zooms Din Djarin in his shiny N1 starfighter. He shoots another bomb, this time into the beast's stomach, and as its guts rain from the sky, he lands triumphantly, turns his head towards the clan, and we see Grogu poke his cute little head up, and then we cut to the title. So what an intro. What did you folks think of this incredible reintroduction to Din and Grogu?
Well, it's interesting how we're opening up to this, and it's all rooted in a ritualistic part of Mandalorian culture that very much is the reason why Din Djarin is no longer a Mandalorian, is because he took his helmet off. So we're witnessing, a very personal tribal moment. So you have that, and then you have the fact that he's crashing in on those traditions to save the day. With his childling, and he's no longer a Mandalorian. There's just a lot of like subtext that's in this scene that really speaks to foreshadowing what the story is going to be, and the events, but also highlighting where we're at currently in the relationship that Din Djarin has with the Mandalorians at this point. I gotta say though, there's some things that caught my eye, and I know we're not in speculation mode yet, but does this kid like have some sort of connection to Paz Vizsla? Like, he seemed pretty protective of him. They were cutting to him a few more times as the ritual was happening. He jumped in and saved him. I'm wondering if this is of a child of his or a childling of his. I don't know.
A foundling that he
a
found
foundling,
in particular.
Yeah, a foundling in particular. It just seems like there could be some sort of relationship. It's the color of the helmet as well was very much that of the same sort of color of Paz Vizsla.
Maybe maybe he was a foundling, so he's being in the sort
inducted.
Inducted into that part of the clan. You notice a lot of these different Mandalorians as part of the Children of the Watch have different helmets and different styles and things like that. So they are probably a little bit sort of splintered there. At first, I thought the armor was making armor for Din. Like, I thought this was a flashback.
Right.
And I'm kind of glad it wasn't.
I like that they misled you that way.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
I was like, is this how he gets his first helmet?
But
and
listen,
then sure enough.
No shade to this kid, right? But the moment he starts talking and he's got that like sort of like little kid lisp about him, I was kind of like, oh, I really hope this isn't Din. Like, I hope this isn't like a slightly more grown up. No shade to this kid, who, by the way, might not be related to Paz Vizsla, but is Jimmy Kimmel's nephew. By the way, so
that's awesome.
So this kid, he was also the same kid who was the Tusken tribe kid in the Book of Boba Fett. So this kid's just getting into Star Wars all over the place. Jimmy Kimmel's got this. He's got the pull, dude. So I get that a lot of kids, his age probably speak like that. But in my mind, I'm thinking like, Din Djarin, like, come on, that can't be how Din Djarin speaks. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. No shade, but.
Well, I can't help but notice that he never actually finished the ritual. I don't know what that means, or if that's just like, Justin, you said, the subtext of it sort of mirroring where Din is right now. I did love this intro of Mando and Grogu again together in the ship, and Grogu just like popping his head up and making his cute little noises. It was a perfect way to start off episode 1.
Well, like, he swoops in, and it's kind of like the ultimate mic drop. You know what I mean? Like, he's saving them all, and he kind of just like turns and like, me? Oh, the one who's no longer allowed to be part of this whole thing? Like, is it cool if I save all of your lives right now?
That's what I mean. That's, and I think
so
I think, again, not getting into speculation, I think that foreshadows where we're going with Din. I think he's going to be their leader. He's going to lead them. And
he has the dark saber.
Yeah, he does, and I think that this will be his clan that he will lead. So I think that's the foreshadow for me, at least, as well.
I want to also shout out the visuals department on this show. This creature looked fan-freaking-tastic. It was
he got a lot of money thrown at him, eh?
Oh my god,
there was a lot of dollars thrown at that thing.
Now, to clarify though, like, because I mentioned it, I think earlier I said it was a crocodile, and then I said it was an alligator. Is it a crocodile or an alligator? Which one do you think it is?
It's either one of them.
Same?
It looked like it. Like, yeah. It was Lake Placid, but just bigger. Like, have you ever seen Lake Placid?
No, I've never seen Lake Placid.
Okay. It's a horror movie. Yeah, it's with a big alligator. It's hilarious.
Which one is known for being in Florida more often? would have been an alligator.
I
An alligator, right? I'm going to say it's an alligator just because, House of Mouse, Disney World at least is in Florida.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I couldn't help but feel like
Got the
this was, this big monster, the use of a big monster like this was similar to the first episode of season 2.
Yeah, with the crate dragon.
With the crate dragon, exactly. So, again, we know that budgets for these shows are spread across multiple episodes. So this could have been one that got a little bit more money thrown at it so that they could do this properly, but it paid off because it looked really good.
So good. So good. And what a wonderful way to open the episode. And it was giving me Captain America's arrival in Infinity War level of Goosies, where I was just getting the Goosies up the arm. Like, as soon as he lands, I was just like, and like when the music, like, I don't know if this was Ludwig or Joseph Shirley here, but when the high-pitched,
yeah, for sure.
Was it Joseph Shirley?
Yeah.
When that high-pitched flute noise hits as soon as that blast makes that first contact, I was like, let's fucking go! Like, I was like, freaking stoked. There's
such another moment that happens. There's another moment that happens later that gives me that vibe as well. But you're right. When he comes zooming in, to your point, like, where he's at with these with the Mandalorians. You're like, oh, this is gonna really bite them in their ass, eh? He has to come in and blow the shit up right out of the water. Like, it's kind of funny, the irony. And then you have Grogu just kind of like poke it up.
Hi guys.
Waving, so, hey, remember me? I'm still around. You know what I mean?
Still
like
cute.
It's
so good. So good. Okay, so back in the armorer's chambers, Din and Grogu walk in, and you get that classic Grogu waddle. She reminds Din that he's removed his helmet and that he's no longer a Mandalorian. When he asks about redemption, she reminds him that since the purge of Mandalore, redemption is no longer possible. He shows her a piece of green crystallized rock with an inscription written in Mandalorian. Din tells her that Jawas came upon the rock by trade from a traveler who found it on the surface of the planet. He expresses to her that if he can prove to her that he's bathed in the living waters beneath the mines of Mandalore, then by creed, the decree of exile would be lifted and he would be redeemed. After a long pause, she agrees, saying, "This is the way." So this starts his journey. What did you think of this moment? Why do you and why do you think it's so important for him to become a Mandalorian again, or at least this version of a Mandalorian?
I personally think there's a little bit of, he's only ever really known being a Mandalorian. So to not be labeled as such feels like this overwhelming loss. And I don't know if it's me reading into it, but I feel like since Grogu chose to be with him and be a Mandalorian instead of going with the Jedi, maybe he has some sort of like parental pressure. He's like, I gotta do this for Grogu.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think there's a sense of identity that comes with it. I think that's the same that can be said in modern day about religion and how people identify it. It's part of who they are. And, as Meg was saying, this is probably all that Din has ever known as he's formulated new relationships as a Mandalorian. So I think he has a huge amount of respect, and that's why he really wants to do it. But, it does make a lot of sense that he feels, that he needs to provide for Grogu something similar that he left, which was right there for him to be, that was going to be provided to him, was to become a Jedi. So I think that here it's about, having a sense of his own identity so he can then extend that into Grogu. I think that's a very, very good observation. And I'm just wondering, like, where did these Jawas get this piece of crystal that he just like happened to find it? Like, that was overly convenient. And also, like, it didn't seem like in the Book of Boba Fett, when she told him originally, like, how he needed to atone, right? She didn't have any claims of like, oh, well, the Purge destroyed everything, so you can't go there. Yeah. Right? Like, you can't go there. But now he's coming back to say, well, I can go there. Like, I don't, it was kind of,
it was a little disjointed, right?
Yeah. And we were talking about this in the spoiler free. And so it's nice that we can kind of elaborate, but this whole little interaction felt more of like a validation of this is what Din's going to do. This is what Din's going to do. I think we already got that though in the Book of Boba Fett, right? So it's like, was it essential for us to have this clunky sort of awkward moment after especially like a really stellar opening that was like boom in your face, right? Like,
I wonder if maybe it was them trying to find a way to get him to go to Mandalore, and like maybe future storylines throughout this season are going to be Mandalore focused. So I wonder if it was like, well, this is the only thing we can think of that is like in text somewhere else, so we can reference that
for people who haven't watched. I think there could have been there could have been a cleaner way to do it, or maybe beef up that recap a little bit more, right?
But
and
in
it was
that
in the
previously
recap.
on, but in that previously on that comes before this episode, that moment that they're on the ship, that's from the Book of Boba Fett, right?
Yeah.
We do get that moment when she says, "You're no longer a Mandalorian. You have to atone," right? So it's like, and that was pretty much the surmise of where we left off with Din, and now here he is saying like, "Hey, I found this." I guess the big point of it is that there's this illusion that that Mandalore is poison, right? Like its planet is contaminated. No one can go there, but he's here to prove that. So like that was the tidbit of information that felt new amongst everything else. I just don't know if we needed it to happen here. Do you know what I mean? Like he's obviously going to go through and start exploring and figuring out how he gets to Mandalore and how, and what he needs, to get his journey, right?
We could have gotten maybe this sort of with Bo later on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I do have a question in regards to the Purge, and it may be a stupid question, but when did that happen?
So it's kind of fuzzy. But according to my favorite website on the internet that helps me with this stuff, Wikipedia, it took place during the Imperial era, Age of the Empire, which was 19 BBY before Yavin to 5 ABY after the Battle of Yavin. So realistically, this would have been happening, I'm going to assume, during, maybe... Empire Strikes Back. It's probably like the best sort of
you said before
rough estimate.
Yavin? Before Yavin and after Yavin, right?
Yeah, that's the Imperial era, right? Is 5 years after the Battle of Yavin. So it even could have been within those 5 years that it may have happened as well.
Yeah,
which would have been after Return of the Jedi.
Yes, exactly. So that means then by the time that we find ourselves with Din Djarin in season 1, that's 9 years after
the Battle of Yavin.
Battle of Yavin.
Okay.
So it's like half.
It's in that time frame, I'm going to assume.
Yeah, exactly. So it's something that's obviously impacted.
Maybe Jon Favreau will come out and give us more of a
more of a timeline breakdown.
No, some geek like us or someone else is going to find the time and make like some beautiful graphic.
Well, send it to us,
it'll
please.
be a big tree.
Yeah. Exactly. And they'll have a timeline and they'll have little dots and say like this is where this happens and stuff.
So then, it does make it strange that the architect, or what is she called? The armorer?
The armorer,
that she...
Going Matrix on us right there.
Didn't, I know. It is weird, though, that she didn't propose this exact same thing in Book of Boba Fett, and they waited until now, making it quite a clunky way to go through and get to Mandalore.
This is where there's a bit of disjointedness, and I'm sure, you know what, at some point, I'm sure Dave Filoni will come out and release an animated short that's going to answer all these questions for us. But I think, to me, though, I loved your answer, Megan, regarding like why does he want to become a Mandalorian? It's for Grogu. To me, I kind of originally felt like it was a bit of a reversal in a way, where I sort of thought, like, I was picturing the idea of the Children of the Watch almost being similar to the Jedi, and Grogu saying, well, I don't want to be a Jedi. And so I thought in my mind that, Din just kind of instantly going into like, well, now we both have to be, not just Mandalorians, but like this version of Mandalorian, which is the only Mandalorian he knows, which again, sort of does make a lot of sense, but it kind of reminds me of, I mentioned earlier in the show, him sort of, he's going with what he's comfortable with. He's getting back in that armor. And so for me, I kind of hope that Bo-Katan has more influence, not just on him, but on him and then through him to the Children of the Watch, or to certain parts of the Children of the Watch. And I think that is going to ultimately set up, and again, we're jumping through speculation here, but I think that's ultimately going to set up the one of the bigger parts of the conflict between Bo-Katan and the Children of the Watch. And I think there's going to be, like, Din and Grogu are kind of going to be, like, right in the middle of that. And so I kind of feel like that's where we're sort of leaning towards, is like, how do we get, how do we Miley Cyrus this stuff? How do we get the best of both worlds? Because, dude, I want to see Pedro Pascal's face. Okay, he is such a good actor. We've talked about this in our Last of Us Watch Club. I think it would be phenomenal, and I also want to see Jon Favreau take his mask off, his helmet off, and as Paz Vizsla. And I just think it would be really, really fun to sort of see this idea that, like, they can have their rules, but they can change them as well, and I think that's important.
Yeah, but I think that the bigger story here is the idea that the two sides have as conflicting beliefs, right? Like, it's almost like Bo-Katan looks at, the Watch and where Din comes from as, children who listen to fairy tales, and
right.
She made that very clear in season 2 that you're like, yeah, you've drank the Kool-Aid, bro. You're all in on this Mandalorian culture, and I think that is kind of the divisiveness that's going to happen. And I think, like you said, Din and Grogu are going to find themselves in the middle because they're so different.
They are the middle
from those traditions.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm.
They are the divide. And again, like, that's going back to the opening scene, how they're smashing in, they're crashing in and saving the day and blowing up tradition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're blowing it up. So it's like,
they just
it's
change
kind
it.
of,
They change it. They're just like, that is the way. The whole thing just changes to that is the way. Okay, I want to talk about this next
snap.
part. I want to talk about Grogu does a little like, hey, snap. Okay, I want to talk about this next part though, because I think massive smiles on all of our faces. While traveling in the N1 starfighter through hyperspace, Grogu senses something traveling with them. He looks up through the glass of the secondary cockpit, and he sees the silhouette of a massive whale-shaped creature swimming alongside them. And then, even better than that, the camera pulls back to show not only the scale of this creature, but in doing so, we see many more of them swimming alongside them, even the little baby one that's kind of like the Grogu of their group. And Grogu then, he gets enamored, and then he gets all tired, and he sneaks up and has a little snuggle with his daddy in the main cockpit. So let's stop here. Thank the makers, Dave Filoni and Johnny Fabs. Holy crap. We just got Purgles in live-action Star Wars. Okay, let's talk about this. Talk about what your reaction was to this moment, and how much of this is this a setup for Ezra and Thrawn? They're so close. In my mind, they were right there. What do you guys think? What did you think of this absolutely incredible moment?
Well, I mean, they already hinted at Thrawn with Ahsoka, which makes no sense timeline-wise, because she said, go find Thrawn. But we're like, as far as we know, he's still in wherever with Ezra. So does she know what has happened? Stuff has gone on behind the scenes that we haven't seen yet. So it obviously is a hint, but they've already hinted at that before.
Mm.
Yeah, I took this as more of a hint at how powerful Grogu has gotten with using the Force.
Do you think he can sense them?
That's what I think. That's what it was. I think that, if anything, to your point, it does foreshadow the fact that we will potentially see that story and see how Ezra and Thrawn have found a way. Because you're right. Like, in that episode with Ahsoka from season 2, I don't think she says go get Thrawn. She says, where is Thrawn?
Where is Thrawn?
Like, where is your leader? Like, where is your leader? She and he has come back. So in my mind, I assume that it already resolved itself. Ezra and Thrawn have somehow made it back, and maybe that's what we'll explore, is that story.
I like the idea that they might be homies by now. Like they were like,
They
listen,
probably
are. Ron and Ezra?
we were trapped with them Purgles for a long time. They both grew beards, and then they both shaved them to just have mustaches. And they're just bros.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting if how they play with time displacement with it.
Yeah.
Like if maybe not as much time has passed, right? Like time has passed because they're going to age up Ezra, but like maybe not as much as they would have thought. Do you know what I mean? Like for how long? But to see this I was in total awe. It was absolutely fantastic. My wife was with me. She hasn't watched too much of it. But like when that happened, she's like, "Oh my God, look at Grogu, he's so cute." And then she, I just gasped when I saw in the skies the Purgles, and I was just like, she's like, "What? What is it? What are those things? What's going on?" And I'm just like, it's too long of a story to tell, but my God, I'm so happy that we're at least bringing these threads over, connecting the dots, and like you said, thank the maker that Filoni is
really
every time something animated is brought into live action, it's another
Filoni.
Chef's kiss.
And Filoni is that chef, and he's not wearing a chef's hat. Wearing a cowboy hat, but I think the badass way that they introduced Mando and then followed up, like I didn't think when that moment happened at the very beginning of the episode, I didn't think my smile could get bigger, but it did, and as it got as big as a Purgle in this moment, and it was absolutely
Purgle in your mouth.
Put a Purgle in my mouth. It was an absolutely wonderful moment, and I think what's great about it is that it does really work for fans of the animated series, but then for those who maybe have no idea, like Justin, like you were saying with your wife, like if for them it's just a really lovely moment that just highlights one of the best aspects of the character of Grogu is that he's this curious little kid, and maybe he's got this special connection to force sensitive beings.
Well, I think he could be the gateway of how they may find their way back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Is he the chosen one?
Is he the chosen one?
Whoa.
You
were supposed to be the chosen one.
Democracy.
It's so good. I can't. Anyways, I really hope we do get to see Ezra and Thrawn. Hopefully anytime now. We got that Ahsoka series coming up. So if this was like a little tease,
I've heard rumors they're not in it.
Happening. Oh man, don't
I've heard
put
rumors.
that out
I've heard
into the
rumors that
galaxy.
they're potentially not in it. There might be more of a
Mando season
4
2
or season 2 for Ahsoka,
or
right?
in the Book of Boba Fett halfway through we'll get a story about them. But in season 2 of the Book of Boba Fett. So listen, we're back on Navarro, and dude, it is thriving under the leadership of High Magistrate Karga. Respectable folks from around the galaxy are roaming about. The bars have been turned into schools. And I like the idea that maybe they have one school where they're teaching them how to run a bar. I think that would be really fun. But in the town, we see a statue dedicated to the one and only, the GOAT, if you will, IG-11. While admiring the statue, we hear, "Mando!" And Grief Karga welcomes him and Grogu inside to catch up on old times. And while inside, we learn that Navarro is an official trade official trade spur of the Hydean Way. Not sure what all those words mean. And Grief suggests to Mando that he should stay, hang up his blaster, and live off the fat of the land. That's definitely what I would do. Din says he catches Grief up, saying, "Listen, he's completed his quest, but then the little one returned to him." And he was basically just being like, yeah, the critter returned to him. And he was basically just like, dude, just go watch the Book of Boba Fett already. He removed his helmet and he said, now I'm an apostate, so I got to go deal with all that. And Karga's like, well, that's all the more reason to stay. But then their conversation is cut short when a protocol droid rushes in to tell them there's pirates in the courtyard. So before we get to those pirates, what did you think of the changes to Navarro and High Magistrate Karga?
This was great to see Carl Weathers come back. We knew he was going to be in the show. He's definitely thriving. He has 2 like little Vespa droids that hold his
cape.
Yeah, wherever he goes, like you can see them like thrumping down the stairs and stuff. So funny.
Imagine that's your purpose. Like, it reminds me of the butter robot from Rick and Morty, where it's just like, this is your life. This is what you do.
If you're gonna see, gluttony and vanity in its highest form, it would be in the sense of having a droid carry your cape the entire way. So they definitely, Navarro's doing well. He's doing well.
Yeah.
He's obviously trying to get Mando to stick around for a little bit longer. But I love that you called out the way he was like, "Wow, you said you were going to get rid of your little critter friend, and now you're back together." And he just puts it as like a relationship status. It's complicated.
Yeah, it's complicated.
It's complicated, and I'm just like, he's just like, that's so. I chuckled pretty hard at that because it feels like it's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek comment
reference
to the fans, right?
Yeah.
Like you read it as like, just go watch Book of Boba Fett, and that's kind of it. It's like, it's complicated. It happened in another show.
Yep.
There's a whole bunch of other episodes that we're sticking around together for a little while longer. So it was a speedy sort of catch up, but interesting that look at Navarro, man. It's blowing up,
dude. Those Kowakian monkey lizards. Last time we saw them, they were on a spit. They were roasting on a spit, and now they're free roaming. God. I wonder if there's like a PETA of the Star Wars universe that flew in and was just like, "Listen, Grief, you gotta make some changes around here, okay? These are protected animals, these Kowakian monkey lizards." But Grief, I think, is. I love that he's sort of Carl Weathers is perfect for this character, and I love that he's kind of he's both. I love how he kind of acts like it's not a really big deal, like, "Hey, it's High Magistrate to you." But then when somebody else messes it up, he's like, "Get the fucking name right, okay? It's High Magistrate." It's so funny. And I think we've mentioned in our previous watch clubs a bunch of times for this show that at times it feels very video game-esque with its side quests. And this episode is not only setting up a ton of side quests, but the growth of Navarro also reminds me, and Megan, you're gonna smile as big as a Purgle right now. This reminds me a lot of Tari Town from The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, right? Where in that game, every time you come back, it's just getting better and better and better. And I love that we can see these changes happen without having to necessarily directly influence them. It just shows that, like, from a storytelling standpoint, that the galaxy is going to grow and change whether you're there or not, Mando. And I think that from a narrative standpoint is awesome, and I love that they're able to do that.
I also think that Navarro looks like it's going to be our almost landing pad for the season. This is going to be the town that he's constantly coming back to, and to see a lush, built-up town is super awesome and great to be able to revisit and maybe catch new things every time we go back.
Oh yeah.
I also think it's going to be a place of great conflict. I think we'll see some Mandalorians falling from the sky into the city.
There was something in the trailer, right? Wasn't there?
Yeah, there was something in the trailer. And now seeing Navarro after this first episode, I'm like, oh, maybe that was it. Because I think instinctually when I saw it, I thought of it as a flashback to the moment with Din.
With Din getting rescued.
He was younger, getting rescued. And I thought, but now thinking about it and seeing Navarro, I'm like, oh, wait, maybe this is where it's going to happen. It's not a flashback, because now that makes sense. Like, why would we go back to that moment? We've already seen that moment. Maybe it's something new. Maybe there is going to be a conflict of some sort that will happen in Navarro. But I do think that it's very important
with
that
those pirates.
We reestablish with the pirate. Exactly. Yeah. I think it's important that we reestablish Navarro and its importance to not just Mando, but to the story as a whole, right?
For sure. I also just want to point out a couple of the many adorable Grogu moments that happen in this episode. Number one, baby's always hungry, so he will find any snack that he can and just grab it, eat it. But also, just watching him like spin himself in the chair was one of my favorite things of the episode.
He's strong with the Force now.
Remember how
he just
often
plays with it.
When he used the Force before, it would like he'd get a little tuckered out, and you have to go to take a little nap. But now he can just push himself around on a little chair and pull little Skittles into his mouth. Like, it's fantastic. No, I love it. And just one more thing before we move on, Justin, you had mentioned a kind of like how It's Complicated felt like an in-joke. I think another line that really felt like an in-joke, there's this exchange between Din and Karga where he corrects him and he says his name is Grogu, and Karga just looks at him and goes, if you say so. It's just so funny, because that was everyone's reaction when it was revealed that his name is Grogu. We're just like,
Grogu,
okay, I guess. Like, it's so good.
But you don't want us to call him Baby Yoda?
Yeah, he'll always be Baby Yoda, but it's just so funny that, like, if you say so.
If you say so.
Perfect line delivery. Okay. Din and Karga walk out to see Vane and his men attempting to have a drink in a school. Vane and his men, remind Karga that if it wasn't for his boss, their boss, the Pirate King Gorian Shard's cut of the treasure, the saloon would have never been built in the first place. After they continue to refuse to move, the two settle it with a classic, intense Old West shootout. Karga shoots the gun right out of Vane's hand, and as the other pirates raise their blasters, Din and Karga shoot them all dead, and Greef sends Vane off with a warning. After the shootout, Greef opens up to Mando about his true intentions in wanting him to stay, claiming that he needs a new marshal now that Marshal Dune has been recruited by Special Forces. And we also learned
Special Forces.
Yeah, we also learned that Moff Gideon was sent off to a New Republic War Tribunal. So let's pause here for a second. Cara Dune has been recruited by Special Forces. Moff Gideon was sent off to a New Republic War Tribunal. What does this all mean, and will we ever see these characters again?
Cara Dune, no.
No, yeah.
Okay.
That's just a polite way of saying, like, you know what, though, actually, I retract. We could see her again. We could see her show up, but this might just be a nice way to preserve her character and send it off without saying anything bad. Well, I think that's just it's the political way to kind of address and shift to the side.
Rick Femu, I gotta always get that right. Rick Famuyiwa, who we actually interviewed,
friends with
by the way.
Dune. Yeah.
I don't know if is he friends with Gina Carano?
Well, in doing some research, getting ready for the interview, I watched the behind the scenes, and she loved working with him. And it seemed like that they kind of may have formed like a friendship. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, I think she spoke highly of a lot of people. I think she also spoke about things she shouldn't have spoken about online.
Yes,
so.
Very toxic, and then doubling down on them. And like her character was fantastic. Like I loved
Luna Lovegood.
I loved Cara Dune quite a bit. I thought she was such a cool character, and Rick Famuyiwa did say that she is a really important character to the story. So I think we might see Cara Dune again, not Gina Carano. I think she'll be recast. I think Marvel's done it. I think Star Wars, I think Lucasfilm, they're not against doing that necessarily. And I think we'll see whoever this new person is, this new Cara Dune, alongside Bill Burr and Paul Sun-Hyung Lee in the Rangers of the New Republic. I think it's actually still going to happen, especially with this little toss-up of recruited by Special Forces. And in just saying that, in just giving us that one line, they've now just said, you know what? Now we've got time to develop something if we want to. They don't have to. They could just straight up Poochie it, and she's just gone forever. But here, do you know who Poochie is, Meg? He's a Simpsons thing.
Yeah, Simpsons, right? Yeah.
But yes, I think she's going to get recast. Now, Moff Gideon, we were in the room when Giancarlo Esposito at Fan Expo Toronto last year.
He's coming back.
He was preaching. He was giving us his church service explanation with all of his advice for our lives. But he was pretty excited about coming back for season 3. So we got to see him, right? He's going to get out of jail or something.
Yeah, okay. he's going to, and I think he's going to show up in Moff Gideon style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Badass.
So yeah, well, even if he is imprisoned, right?
He was involved in a lot of the cloning stuff, though, was he not? So
yes, yeah, I think so. Wasn't he?
We could still see
he was at that facility.
Yeah, Mount something.
Yeah, we could see that facility. I think,
Mount
yeah, he's
Tantus.
definitely he's attached to like the sort of special projects, right? Because the Death Troopers were definitely his thing, and he obviously wanted Grogu, so it was probably part of special projects. That's the thing that we haven't really unraveled yet.
Yeah.
Not in this show.
And we know
So-
Pershing from the trailer. We know Pershing is hanging out on Coruscant at some point. Maybe
And
he's in a jail on Coruscant or something in that regard.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And I know that like we've gotten more visual hints at the potential of this show kind of talking about Snoke and stuff like that. But we know with a show like The Bad Batch, cloning is very integral
Huge.
to it. Is hugely important to the story. So, yeah, I think it's safe to say that he'll come back and he'll have some sort of importance to play in that sort of special projects area.
Well, I also want to point out these pirates here. We get another live-action Weequay in the group. And, you know, we've gotten Hondo Anaka in not just live action, but in real life at Galaxy's Edge. And then Tanti, the bartender from Mos Pelgo. And now this guy, and they're just sort of proving more and more that they can give us live action, Weequay. And so I'm wondering, does that mean eventually we might get a true Pirate King, a return of the king, if you will? Because Hondo was the Pirate King before this other guy, right? So I'm wondering if and the other thing that I'm also curious too, if you look at their outfits, it does kind of look quite a bit like Hondo's crew. And I'm maybe that's just Star Wars pirates, like that's just the pirate template for Star Wars world. But like I still think I still maybe like very Ravager-esque, but I think it would be really cool if maybe some of these folks were from his crew and maybe have defected from him because he's gotten too old. But then he comes back and he's like, "Hey, I'm back." I want him to just.
I think it's
back
very Hey, Hondo
and that guy's here.
I think it's very likely that he will find his way into live action.
Please still be alive.
Well, he was besties with
I think
Ezra, right? So
Yeah,
But he's on Batu, right? Like Batu is supposed to exist in a sort of present state of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right? Like
That's
within
true.
the sequel
true.
trilogy,
So
right?
he's definitely alive. What am I talking about?
Yeah, so he would definitely be alive.
Okay,
So
okay. Cool.
So yeah.
All right, well, let's keep going here. Mando politely declines to offer to become Navarro's marshal and asks Greef for his friend back, pointing at the statue of IG-11. He needs a droid that he can trust, and he's that droid. After attempting to repair IG himself, he manages to power him up, but unfortunately, the droid is back to his original programming. He goes all Terminator on them, and at all costs, he must destroy the asset. And he drags his body across the ground in a really terrifying way. Zombie IG. And then Karga's assistant, protocol droid, knocks over a bust of Karga himself onto IG's head, stopping its attack. Unable to repair the droid himself, they entrust the job to, this is the best, a group of Anzellans. After working tirelessly and yelling a lot, and also avoiding Grogu's grasp, they tell Mando can't fix it without a certain part that is very hard to find. The Boken. But Din says that he can recover the part for the repair, and then says his goodbyes to Greef. So let's talk about, for me, another highlight of this episode, seeing two of the cutest things in the galaxy embrace, albeit non-consensually. How fantastic was it to see the Anzellans here? And why do you think it's so important for Din to recover IG-11 instead of any other droid?
Well, I gotta say, the moment the Anzellans came on screen, I was like, "Whoa!" I got so excited.
When he's like, "What do you want? What do you want?" Like, it's just what you want, and it's just the little eyebrows.
Boken.
The Boken.
So cute.
Oh my
Bad
gosh.
baby.
Oh, bad
Oh my
baby,
God.
or like the use of poodoo in this episode. Buy new droid. This one poodoo. Like, oh, I love their use of basics. So good.
They're so cute. I feel like IG-11 was very much a protector of Grogu, and he became really special to their sort of team in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember his like self-destruct moment was really sad, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I cried.
Mhm.
So, and I didn't go back and watch the first season, but I feel like there's a lot more to IG-11 that is necessary for the future of Grogu, the future of protecting him, and maybe the future of the Mandalorian Children of the Watch under Mando's rule.
Interesting.
Well, I think, given the fact that there was such a fear from Din Djarin.
Yep. They took his life away, dude. They took his life away.
They took everything away. Yeah. I think that it says a lot that he considers IG-11 a friend.
Yep.
And I think it's through the eyes of Grogu. Mm-hmm. It's through the eyes of the fact that IG-11 put himself in between, all threats, and protected Grogu. And that means a lot to him. And I think based on that alone, he can trust him. Do you know what I mean? He can trust him, and he understands that he will do right by Din Djarin and protect Grogu. I think that it's makes for a good adventure to have IG-11
Taika
as well.
Waititi.
I think that just to have a droid like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, in the moments from season 1 when he was around, like, he was still comedic.
Oh yeah.
But he was also like all the other droids that's just completely inept with, and not understanding, human situations.
Yeah, social cues and what have you.
Social cues and stuff like
Very
that.
C-3PO.
Exactly. So, I think it sets up a really cool, side mission that I hope we get to see.
I hope it pays off. I also think too it highlights another example for Din as proof to the Children of the Watch that, hey, listen, we can be different. We can make friends with droids, and we can make friends with little green-eared foundlings, right? And so I think it's kind of another example where they would look at droids. Maybe they also sort of look at droids as this terrible thing because of how they've had to sort of go through and protect people from them when they were being used by the Separatists. I want to just quickly, just before we continue, just a couple more things on the Anzellans, because I can't get enough of these little guys. Shout out to Shirley Henderson, who does all the voices for the Anzellans, Babu Frick as well in The Rise of Skywalker, but also Moaning Myrtle from the Harry Potter franchise. She's the voice of Moaning Myrtle. So dope that Shirley is back.
Love that.
And then I've got a fun Anzellan fact for you. It's not a batch fact, but it's an Anzellan fact. Besides showing up in the High Republic books, there is an Anzellan named Shrug Drabor, who is the designer of the Halcyon, which is better known as the Galactic Star Cruiser at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Which is pretty dope. He's this little guy, and he's the one that designed the ship. So it's just kind of neat to get another in-universe example of the Anzellans. It seems like they're really making Anzellans a thing.
Yes.
And yeah, I need more Anzellans in my life. So I just wanted to quickly shout that stuff out as well. But let's keep going here. On their way to their next destination, Grogu's Mandalorian lesson, I love how he's getting a little lesson from his dad, is cut short by Vane, who shows up yet again seeking revenge for the 4 pirates that were shot down on Navarro. What precedes is an incredible dogfight as they pursue Din into an asteroid field. After bobbing and weaving and using stealth, he manages to take them all out, all of them, except for Vane, who leads Din directly into the sights of the Pirate King's ship. After a brief exchange, Din tells Grogu, never trust a pirate, as he blasts off into hyperspace. So, what a fantastic space fight. What did you think of Mando's skills here, and what did you think of King Gorian Shard?
I literally wrote, AKA Greenbeard, because he looks like Blackbeard from Pirates of the Caribbean, but he's just covered in green moss.
Yes. Yeah, I was also getting Davy Jones vibes from the guy as well.
Sorry, yes. I think that's where my brain was at.
Yeah. No, Greenbeard
such a
works
strange looking character.
Love it.
Not scary. I don't know if he was meant to be.
I think he was meant to be kind of silly. Like he's
like
played
comedic,
by He's played by Nonzo Anozie, who if you've ever watched, there's a great series on Netflix called Sweet Tooth. And I don't know if it's going to keep going or if they cancel all their stuff, but he plays Tommy Jeopard on the show. And he also, by the way, plays the voice of Sam Obasanya's dad on the phone when Sam is talking to his dad over the phone. That's the voice, and I don't know if I don't think he's the actor that portrays him. I still can't remember if I've seen Sam Obasanya's dad in the show, but I did love that zoom out on his, when he's kind of just like, it felt like an 80s sci-fi thing to do where it's just like, no, like it's so good. Yeah. They really knocked it out of the park with this guy. He looked awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like the Swamp Thing, not the Man Thing, Swamp Thing.
Right. Good to differentiate.
Very, very, green, floral, dangly bits, and just super tall. But like, I don't know. Again, I think what's been interesting about this episode is that we're kind of seeing different things that we probably are going to be revisiting the rest of the season. Like, I think it's safe to say that
he's coming back.
He's coming back. He's going to come after Mando hard. So
and then
it's going to be interesting.
And dude, here's what's going to happen. Right, he's going to be there. They're fighting. The Children of the Watch are fighting in Navarro, and all seems lost. And guess what happens? Swoops in and he goes, "Hey, I'm back, and I'm Hondo Naka," and he blows them all up, and we get Hondo back. I got mad Batman vibes from this space fight. Like, even hearing Vane saying, "Does anyone have eyes on the Mandalorian?" just gave me instant flashbacks to seeing Scarecrow in Batman Begins when he's like looking up and he's all scared. Like, I was like, yo, this is some straight up Batman stuff, and I think it's so cool that he's using fear. Their own fear against them, and I think it's between this and Luthen Rail's Fonder Hallcraft with its use of the laser beams, they are stepping up the space combat in Star Wars. Yeah. Huge, like
they're
bigly.
Reimagining.
It's so cool.
Yeah, they're reimagining the dogfight. It's not just based on old World War footage. It's now adapted. So I thought what was really cool is, like you said, bobbing and weaving, going stealth, and just the cool wraparound tricks that he did, and he was blasting them. He was just shooting them off one by one. It shows a level of confidence and knowledge with this ship, to handle it that well. So, yeah, this was one of those moments where I was like, damn, some good space fight.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It reminded me a little bit of Clone Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi starfighter.
That's a ship. That is his ship from
But that's
if
like
I'm not
the
mistaken.
early,
it's
or
a
the
new,
prequels.
No, he's not.
An N1.
That's not an N1 though, is it? No, it's not an N1. But it looks. I mean, it could be similar. But he's definitely flying around. But no, I get what you're saying. Like when
the way
between him
he's
and
battling in the and
hiding
behind
on
asteroids,
on the
and stuff.
asteroids. Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe we'll get a side story about Obi-Wan teaching
old Ben
Din Djarin how to. No, it's not. It's not possible.
No, he's dead by now.
He's gone. Yeah, he's gone. Okay, let's keep going here. They arrive on the rainy planet of Kalevala, and they land at a Mandalorian castle. They walk through a long, echoey hallway towards a complacent-looking Bo-Katan. Din offers himself in joining her to retake Mandalore, and Bo informs them that when she returned without the Darksaber, her forces melted away. The stolen fleet are currently making their way through the galaxy as mercenaries. She asks Din if he still has a saber and suggests that he could lead them. She tells him that his cult gave up on Mandalore long before the Purge. She says the Children of the Watch fractured and shattered their people. And she tells him that there is nothing left and that he should go home. Din informs her that he's going to Mandalore to bathe in the living waters. She calls him a fool and tells him the planet was ravaged, plundered, and poisoned. She lets him know that the mines are beneath the Civic Center in the city of Sundari. Din thanks her and tells her that he will find out if the planet is really poisoned. And she says, "Goodbye, Din Djarin," and the episode ends. So Bo-Katan seems rather defeated here, like she doesn't care at all. What do you think is going on with her here, and what do you think will convince her to join Mando on Mandalore?
Well, I think, first viewing of Bo in this season is epic. The way she's, I understand she's defeated and sad and maybe a little disheartened, but the way she's like posed up on her throne, I was like, damn, let's go, Bo. But I feel like there's still a little bit of jealousy in the fact that Din has the sword and she can't have it. And again, this was that moment of when she returned to her people, all of her people left her because she didn't come back with the sword. So not only is she defeated with the fact that everyone who was following her just decided that she's not worth it anymore, but she now like rules a throne of nothing, which is even more upsetting. Yeah. So she's in a rough spot.
She's a leader with no people.
Yeah.
She's a leader with no people. She's defeated. She's mourning her loss. She's kind of in self-pity mode right now, in my opinion. And I think that's, to your question about what's going to get her out of her rut, all I would say is wait for episode 2. But I think the main thing that's clear here is that you're right. There's a sense of animosity and jealousy. She doesn't think that Din Djarin is deserving of the Darksaber. He doesn't understand, its importance and what it means, for Mandalore and for the people of Mandalore. So I think that in that in itself is kind of where that attitude comes from. This sort of degrading, like, you think you can just go to Mandalore and like solve all your problems? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, you just listen to fairy tales. Come on, just like get over yourself. Like it has such a there is a sense of immaturity in her approach. But that said, this concludes our I think you put it best, Nate, video game-esque episode that weaves us through the galaxy to kind of show us upcoming threats, allies, and stuff like that for the season.
He's like pressing X on all the NPCs and agreeing to the cutscenes, but then not actually doing any of them just yet. He's just collecting all of them before he's like figuring out what he wants to do next.
Yeah, and the fact that we end with Bo-Katan, who is going to be a threat to. Not a threat, but I guess a challenge to Din Djarin. It makes a lot of sense, right? So for me, at least, I was like, oh, okay, well, at least I know that we'll be seeing some of these things over the course of the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, we still got, 7 episodes to go. Now, I'm assuming there's more than one castle on this planet, because this doesn't quite look like the throne room from Clone Wars. Like, in Clone Wars, there was a lot more natural light. There were a lot more windows. I don't think that big stone depiction of the battles on Mandalore, like, I don't think that was in where Satine would sit. But you have to imagine that, like, maybe this is one of the thrones that Satine would sit on,
it's Bo's throne,
or maybe it's Bo's, or maybe this was her castle, right?
Because Satine was the ruler of Mandalore.
Yes.
So that's the last throne she sat on.
For sure. And this seems like this is not on Mandalore. It's on a planet near Mandalore.
Right. Yes, this is Kalevala. So, but you'd have to imagine like some royal relative probably sat their buns there.
It's their beach cottage.
Yeah, their beach cottage. Yeah. And they just have the one butler droid just chill in there, like, to welcome people. I think that I think the messaging could be something along the lines of Din explaining that he and Grogu and maybe IG-11 should have never been able to work together, and maybe even Bo. That isn't, like, the conflict is there, and him explaining that to the children of the Watch, showing that he's learned and he's grown so much because of his relationship with these people. I think that, to me, is going to be a big argument to the children of the Watch to say that this isn't the way. This isn't the only way. And I really do think that that's kind of where they're going to sort of lead towards. I also wanted to quickly just shout out, this has nothing to do with the question I asked, but my favorite credits concept art that they've ever done in this show. And it's just Grogu giving a big ol' squeezy to the Anzellan. It's just the biggest hug ever. I'm like, how did they just make the cutest image in the world? I don't understand. So I'm going to need a print of that. I'm going to need to get my own Anzellan to give to my own little Grogu here so they can hug each other forever. And he can just say, no squeezy, no squeezy.
Bad baby.
Bad baby. It's so good. So good.
I also literally wrote down the exact same thing as you, Nate. I want
Yeah.
Grogu hugging the mechanic as art on my wall.
Please, please, let's make it happen. I'm sure we can buy it at Disney for $900. All right. I want to know your overall thoughts and final score for this episode, which for this episode, we're going to be rating it on a scale of 1 to 5, and Zellen's squeezed too tightly. Megan, we're going to start with yourself.
Well, I think this was a great start to season 3. There were epic moments, adventure moments, and story progression, if not a little expositional. It was a fantastic way to bring back Mando and Grogu after season 2 and the Book of Boba Fett. Big action, like I said, the start of a new adventure, and so much baby content, which is really why we're all here. So I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5, and Zellen's squeezed too tightly. Can't start off too strong.
No, of course. Justin, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think this episode, its strength is the way it confidently takes us through the galaxy, through Din Djarin and Grogu's perspectives, to reconnect with their allies, to meet new enemies, to very much establish what will be the remaining 7 episodes, is seeing a lot of this unfold. It did not disappoint with the action. It did not disappoint by setting up great adventure. It set up some pretty cool characters as well. It gave us a really cool moment from the animated that, I think caught me off guard, at least.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, damn, it's like, let's go. But it also then, reintroduces us to, in my opinion, a bit more of an updated Din Djarin, an updated Grogu, and yeah, I think that it's the proper introduction to a season 3. It feels very fitting, and it had so much Star Wars charm, right? Like the cuteness that is so inherently that is now part of Star Wars because of Grogu found a place here. We found the Western also here. We found some great space dogfights in this episode.
So much.
We had some magical moments. We had a big creature, right? So it really does tick everything off. I think the thing that is why I'm going to be giving this a bit of a lower score is only because it was, I said in our spoiler free, I don't know if that's just the problem that we're kind of at with trying to tell really big stories in short amount of time, right? Taking the Star Wars approach and condensing it into a series.
32 minutes.
Because in 32 minutes, you know what I mean? So it feels like they're really trying to set up a lot. But again, it's Star Wars, and it still felt very refreshing to kind of return to a sense of normality with Star Wars after something that was so heavy like Andor.
Oh, yeah.
I welcome it. It was refreshing. It was different. But like I was saying at the top of the show, when we first got season 1 of The Mandalorian, it felt different, but also honoring the traditions of Star Wars, whereas Andor now just feels so far outside of the box of Star Wars that
in a good way,
it's kind of refreshing in the best way possible. That's a compliment to it. But yes, this first episode did a really great job of kind of reintroducing us to this part of Star Wars, the Mandalorian, the Grogu side of Star Wars. So I'm going to be giving this a 4 out of 5. And Zillion squeezed too tightly.
There we go. I think if Andor is that new and fresh flavor, The Mandalorian is Star Wars comfort food. It's the warm bowl of soup, right? That or the warm the little soup that Grogu drinks in season. But overall, I think this episode was a bit shaky and awkward at times. There were just it kind of felt like it might have been a bit disjointed. But for me, it was kind of like what you were saying, Justin, and what we said in the spoiler free. It's a sample platter of what The Mandalorian is. And it
poo-poo platter.
Yeah, I was gonna say a sample.
I did say. I know. I was like, do I change it to? Do I keep poo-poo? It's a
no. Go with poo-poo.
Okay.
Poo-poo platter sounds great. I like.
You know what? It was a poodoo platter.
Poodoo. There you go.
There we go. Of everything that makes The Mandalorian great and also sometimes not great, and that's kind of evolved for me at least from being not great and this is bad to not great and it's kind of charming at the same time. Yeah. And so it's kind of just like you sort of almost evolve with these shows.
You're used to it.
We're used to it, and it's just kind of like Oh, Mandalorian. Okay.
Because when we were at season 1, we were very critical about some of this
Yes.
stuff, and like we think, but now it just feels part of the formula.
Yep.
You know what I mean? To
They
not be able
beat
to
us into
kind
submission.
of rush. Exactly.
With
and
Grogu
to sort
cuteness.
of
Yeah.
with Grogu cuteness, but we're used to this rushed sense of trying to show you things
Yeah.
in a small amount of time, but then you do get really good episodes that allow things to breathe a little bit, right?
Yeah.
It's like, a finale in season 2. So.
I think the opening was incredibly strong. Again, Rebels fans got their little moment, and it's just like they've still not stopped thinking about it. Classic Mando visits a friend moment on Navarro. You're right, Justin. We got to see how much Grogu and Din have grown since the last time we've seen them. And Din is such a dad now. Like, he got his first dad joke in this episode when he's like, "Now that's using your head," and I was like, who is this man right now? Who is this Mando?
Dad Jarin
over
Jarin.
here. He's dropping his dad jokes. I was like, that is so hilarious and so unexpected. But he's becoming a full dad now. And again, the awesome space battle, the wonderful tease with Bo-Katan at the end. Great action, funny moments, intriguing setups for what I'm sure is going to be a fantastic season. So I'm going to give this first episode a solid 4 out of 5. And Zelen squeezed too tightly the Balkan, and I love how Grief is like, he's saying it's broken. It's like, yeah, I get that part.
He's like, I got it.
So good.
I think it was the one where he said he was broken, and then he spits on it.
Yeah.
and then he had to clarify, make sure he understood. He's like, I get it.
So good. All right. Well, that is it for this week's Watch Club for The Mandalorian Season 3. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to subscribe to us wherever you like to listen to podcasts, if you haven't already. And if you want to write into the show with your thoughts or predictions on the shows we cover in Watch Club, well, listen, you don't have to hire a bunch of small aliens to fix a robot that can help you guide you to your next bath time. Instead, Megan, can you let the children of the Watch Club... new thing, Children of the Watch Club. I don't know. I'm trying it out. Can you let the children? Can you let the children of the Watch Club know how they can reach us by holo message?
They can reach us at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. That's wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. Or they can find us on Twitter at GeekcentricYT or on Instagram at wearegeekcentric.
It was very clean, very protocol droid of you. That felt very, yeah, it was great. Keep in mind,
this is my answering machine voice.
I love it. Keep in mind, we also have a ton of other great episodes covering the latest in movies, TV shows, and games, including our recent spoiler-free review for the Apple TV Plus series Hello Tomorrow. And if you enjoyed this Watch Club and you can't get enough Star Wars in your life, because come on, Star Wars. We also have our Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 2 Watch Club continuing every single Wednesday. Some really great stuff coming up with that show. I'm super stoked. I will say our finale for that show, we still have a few more episodes before we get to it. Might be a little bit delayed as we didn't happen to get that one ahead of time to record, but we are so excited. I'm so stoked for it. I cannot wait to see where it goes.
My God, yeah.
We also have interviews out now with this episode's director, Rick Famuyiwa, and as well as Bo-Katan Kryze herself, Katie Sackhoff, where Justin had the chance to sit down with them and discuss their voice in the larger Mandalorian story, as well as there's a lovely moment about Star Wars parenting, which is just absolutely adorable. So go give those episodes a listen right here on your podcast service of choice, or you can check out that interview on YouTube at youtube.com/geekcentric. And be sure to check out our TikTok at We Are Geekcentric as well. We got some cool TikToks going on. I'll get Justin to do a TikTok dance one day. But again, subscribe, click on all the things, click all the bells, click all the likes, give us a review rating out of 5 stars, make it 5 stars. Justin, Megan, thank you so much for joining me for this beginning of our 17th Watch Club. And as we say, this is the way.